Talk Shoes. Recorded live.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever it may be across the nation or around the world. Once again, you're listening to the VMware Communities Roundtable podcast. This is podcast number 680. My name is Eric Nilsson, and with me today, I have my alternate co-host, Tony Foster. We're going to be talking about gamification and VMware Rewards with Tiffany Hancher. She's on a call here today, but before we do that, let's talk a little bit about the Bay Area weather report, the color of the Bay. Maybe we'll get some central weather report from Tony. I think he's out in Kansas City, Missouri, right? So I got that right.
Kansas City, Kansas. I'm on the Kansas side.
You're on the Kansas side. All right. Well, before we get into that, let's just do a little bit of the news. What's actually happening with VExperts? Corey couldn't be with us today, but he's given me a nice report. So let's do color of the Bay first. California, it's gotten sunny. So we got some sun here today. The rainstorm, the last one, just moved out. We got about 7 days of happy sunshine. So the Bay Area report is pretty muddy. Everything is muddy up here right now. We've got water coming off the hills. The hills are sliding into the ocean. It's the classic storm season here in California. And so the Bay Area has had flooding. Silicon Valley's got rivers that drain out into the bay, and they've been washing away. So we've had a couple big storms come in the last week. So it's California, right? That's how California is. A lot of weather in the winter washes half of California down into the ocean. So we got that going on. Tony Foster, how's it out in Central America?
Central America is very, very nice right now. Here in Kansas, we're looking at temperatures around 70 degrees this afternoon. And that's how it's going to be most of the week. Clear skies, life is good.
All right. Well, there you go. It is that time of year. Let's talk about VExperts. VExperts are almost out. VExpert 2024 awards will be announced by Thursday, i.e. tomorrow. So tomorrow afternoon, expect to see your VExpert awards happening. There will be applications opening up then for the 13 sub-programs, which will open up 2 weeks post the award announcements. So tomorrow, award announcements. So congrats to all the VExperts that applied, and the announcements will go out. I know Corey's been engaging with a lot of people, making sure that declines don't go to the wrong people, but he's ready to go, and he's going to hit the big button tomorrow, which should send out all of the announcements. Let's see. They're going to be doing some call for VCF content. So you can imagine we're working with the new VCF division, and we're looking for blog articles for VCF. So pay attention to that. That's going to be happening. Let's see. VExpert Pro, nothing much there. And that's it. That's it from Corey. He's basically saying, yeah, there's a lot of details on when. Please mention if they do not receive an accept or decline. Their applications most likely in pending, and they have 2 weeks to respond to the pending messages that was sent to them via the application messaging system. So if you don't get a decline and you don't get an accept, it means that Corey has probably sent you something that he needs more data for you to go into the accept category. Go into the VExpert portal, read your messages. Your messages probably will indicate why he hasn't accepted you yet. So that's what he's saying there. So make sure that if you don't get an accept and you don't get a decline, then you're probably stuck in he wanted more data and you haven't seen that yet. So that's going out tomorrow. So a lot of fun with that. Looking forward to that. With that, Explore continues to wrap up. Call for papers is going out March 22nd around then. So make sure your papers are there. This year we are doing code and VMTN/vBrownbag call for papers in the event system. So if you're used to going to vBrownbag and submitting your community paper, this year we're going to actually do it in the event system. So we don't have to do all the cross control from Alistair in. We're going to give Alistair the track submissions for community, and between me and Alistair, we'll come up with who's accepted. There's a couple other people that engage. So we're doing the call for papers in the Explorer, and there will be a community track and a code track in the submission. and that's where you're going to submit your papers this year. So I'm sure Alistair will put that up on his website, and then we'll handle it that way. So watch for that. That's coming out. Get your ideas ready. Got a lot of theater slots as always. Excited to have both VMUG and Code and VM10 v Brown Bag all together in the village this year. So excited about that. We'll talk about Tiffany and the rewards. That's going to be in there as well. So a lot of activity around the community. No question, Broadcom focuses on community, spends money on community, and it should be bigger and better than ever this year. So that's what's going on with Explorer. So pay attention to that. We're looking forward to everybody either in Vegas or Barcelona this year. That'll open up sometime March 22nd through the 25th. Pay attention to that. I think that's all I got. So let's get on with the show today, VMware Rewards at Broadcom. That's what I like to title this, with Tiffany Hancher. Tiffany, welcome back to the show. I know you've been on several times, so we always start out with tell us who you are and what you do at VMware, and how's your career been?
Yeah, thank you for having me back. I have been with VMware now just over 8 years, and now part of VMware by Broadcom, whatever you want to call us. And excited that my role is actually going to continue to grow and expand as we get to bring in more of the Broadcom customers. But nothing is changing in the world of what you knew it as VMware Rewards or Champions program.
Nice. Well, it's great to have you back on the show, and looking forward to talk to you about the rewards program in general. But let's talk a little bit about gamification before we jump into VMware Rewards. What gamification was really popular back in 2012, I think 2013, 2014, where everybody was doing it. They had like different vendors. I forget even what the different vendors' names were. And at the time, I think when all these vendors were out there, we had different groups inside of VMware using gamification for all kind of things. Why don't we talk a little bit about gamification? What's the value behind it, and is it popular, and why do we do it?
Absolutely. So the biggest thing is really it's designed to thank our customers for what they're already doing. So as you mentioned, we it really kicked off and got huge momentum within VMware. Every different outlet wanted to have some sort of point system for their customers, and it's great engagement promoter. But really the thing with rewards and why it was a necessary need was to bring all those point systems into one place. And so right now, the points and rewards program, it will be the gamification, the loyalty program, thinking about frequent flyer mile programs, it's that for VMware customers. So it is all of those things you mentioned in one.
Yeah, I remember the days when I think we counted how many different point systems were at VMware, like 12 different point systems across all of the different places inside of VMware. From global support had one, SEs and different field orgs had another one for participation. We certainly had one on VMTN that we used. We had another one on CloudCred that we used. The customer experience team had theirs. You were over in customer success, stories. You had one with Influitive. So there was, that was just like, that's a rattling off some of those.
Yeah.
Then that kind of everything came together, and VMware Rewards, got launched, and that kind of pulled the whole point system together, right? So you had a little momentum going, or I feel like we had momentum going. Then the Broadcom announcement happened, right? And everybody kind of froze and went, we don't know what that means, right?
Yeah, we didn't know what it meant either, but luckily they actually did have their own instance in their own program on Influitive. So the buy-in was easy. They saw the value, they get it. And we've had nothing but major support from Broadcom. And so we are moving forward. And as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be expanding into other areas, other divisions, and bringing the Broadcom customers from their Influitive instance into ours, which gives them a lot more content, a lot more options for them to earn points. And they actually do have some items for their instance of swag, but our instance is much fuller of items and all of the different swag options. And we also expand into, we have an option where people can redeem points to be a guest on your podcast right here. So there are a lot of exciting engagements that they can redeem their points for. So I think it'll be really great for both VMware and Broadcom customers.
So, so to recap, Broadcom already had a point system that was on the same platform as you guys are running your rewards program on, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And so I guess it's surprising to me. And what's your impression of this? That, when I think of Broadcom, I think of, putting quarters in the vending machine to get your sodas, right? Like they're a very financially conservative organization, right?
Mm-hmm.
I get that. So it's kind of surprising to me that they would actually have, giveaway point system. Were you surprised by this? What's your impression of all of that?
Well, if you know anything, it was also through an acquisition. It started as a Symantec platform, and those customers were invited in as a Symantec customer and were rewarded and nurtured through the Influitive platform there. When that acquisition happened, they did continue to build on it. But then our acquisition came shortly after, and we came in with a lot more customer engagement. And so we've been able to really build on bringing those customers in and truly give them that experience that we built.
Yeah, that's interesting. So they ended up acquiring Symantec. Symantec had an Influitive instance, and they didn't shut it down, is I guess the truth. It's like somebody in the merger acquisitions convinced Broadcom that this was valuable to their division. And that's my take in this space, is that when I'm watching Broadcom, I'm looking at Broadcom, they don't tend to mess with the divisions as much as you think on certain things. They certainly laid off a bunch of people, and they decided, what they're gonna keep and what they're not. But then once the division gets going, I feel like the divisions kind of run their own business, right? Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And so going forward, the engagement with our divisions are actually going to be even stronger. We've been able to find different marketers inside the divisions that we never had before. So now we'll really be able to push more of the, what's coming, new product announcements, everything like that you may not have been able to see or that we didn't have information on before. And we'll be able to really help get our customers all the information they need faster.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm just surprised that how much of the, oh yes, we can do that kind of attitude I've heard from Broadcom, because you hear all these stories of everything. Oh, the price changes and the partner ecosystem changes. But what I've seen is, there was a lot of onboarding. There was a lot of change that happened because of onboarding. But once onboarding happened, they kind of are a yes kind of company, right? Like, at least I've seen a lot of, yes, sure, let's do that. That makes sense, especially if we can push it to all the other divisions. Now, maybe we're in corporate marketing, so this is just one of the things that corporate marketing's function is to push programs out to all the divisions. But I'm actually really surprised at the acceptance of rewards, because for you asked me, I would think that this is one of the last frivolous things that Broadcom would ever want to do, is, gamification and rewarding people for taking activities and participating in the community and, coming on podcasts to engaging. But it just does seem like they're a yes company if you have a smart program, right?
Exactly. I haven't had any pushback. If anything, they've been floored by how much engagement we have. And I know you feel the same way. It's just everyone is shocked by how many customers we've been able to really stay in the community, stay in the programs, and love participating. They love sharing their voice. They love that we're here to listen, and we reward them for it. And so it just makes sense. And we haven't had any pushback at all.
So you also have this thing called the Champions program, which is like a collection of the most popular people that are using rewards, right? So that if you are a key contributor as a customer, you can graduate into a Champions program that then allows the top tier customers to talk to each other, right, and engage with each other and have fun with each other. Tell us a little bit about your activity now that Broadcom has happened. Are people still engaging? Are they still participating? Are you still seeing the champions engage? Because, we get so much pushback. We ran a VMUG live stream. We had 2,000 people show up, and, maybe 50 people complained a lot, but the rest were there. What's your impression now that the bumps are kind of settling down? What's your impression of customers still engaging with us?
Yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, the program of champions are those customers who are in that frequent flyer mile program, but they are the top of the top. They are a part of everything. They're in all of your communities. They're in all of the different outlets that we bring the points in for. And so it's a small group of them. We have about 1,000 right now. And so we really try to pour in to them in the rewards program and, thank them for all of their different engagements. And they have actually continued with that 80 to 90% engagement rate. And to your point, I think it's because they are already engaged in all of the other spots. They're showing up to the VMUG events. And so they aren't shocked by all of the changes. They've kind of been in it with us this whole time. And so it doesn't seem like a big shocker to them. Now, the other thousands that are in our program would love to see how that is, impacting their engagement.
Okay. Yeah. URLs. I know VMware.com is, you put it on, I put it in chat, or I pushed on a live stream on the video that the URL is VMware.com/company/rewards.html. Is this URL going to continue on? What's your destination for the rewards program in the future?
Actually, so we're on the communities page, and then within that communities page, if you click on rewards, it will take you to this. Just a little more information on how to earn points, how to sign up for the program, what the difference is between the rewards and the champions program, what the benefits are of being a champion. So as of right now, everything will continue being there. As we continue to grow the program within the divisions at Broadcom, we'll probably expand to a Broadcom page somewhere. But right now, 99% of our customers are VMware customers. So we're really focused on keeping it where our customers are. That's at Explorer. That's here on VMware.com as well.
So I know they're keeping VMware.com. I've been told that for the blogs, VMware.com, blogs.VMware.com will still continue on. Advocacy.VMware.com will continue on. So my guess is wherever you're sitting, rewards at VMware.com will just continue on for the next year or so as they continue to do the brand, right? I know that VMware, the brand, continues on. VMware by Broadcom continues on. The web URLs continue on. And so therefore, if you're accessing the rewards program, the only thing I would say is that the community page is moving. So communities will go to broadcom.com/community, and then in there will be destinations, right? So maybe we have some work there to make sure that people can find rewards when they come into community.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that change comes also, the communities at Broadcom will be integrated in. So any of the engagements that currently are hosted within the communities right now at VMware, we're working on building out those connections so that you can continue to earn the points in the Broadcom communities going forward. And I also, will be working on the merge over to the new SSO. I think that's another big change coming, but we will have all the how-tos and make sure our customers know when it's coming so that you're not just locked out one day and can't access your rewards. You'll be able to make that shift over and to the Broadcom SSO, and hopefully nothing will be impacted.
I'm just looking at my phone and I'm watching my email, and I am a rewards member, and I just got a rewards email notification of new challenges. Right, go watch the ICYM 65 media interviews with Hawk 10. I got the whole, it's still going on, right? We're still engaging with the customers. Customers are still going on. Tony Foster, what's your impressions? Got any questions for Tiffany?
So I did, and Tiffany actually answered them before I could even ask them, which was awesome. But my impression, and I've actually been participating in the rewards program for a long time, since it was in existence, or since it was started back in 2012, 2013, somewhere in there. And so I really enjoy it because it's a great way to actually find out about what's going on in the organization. And I will say, through non-traditional means. It is not a bunch of corporate rhetoric that you hear over and over, just talking heads. It's actually really down to earth material. So it's a whole lot more consumable, and it's a whole lot easier to share out to my communities when that time comes, when it's something I actually want to share out to my sphere of influencers, or however you want to put that.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, we try to make it to where we highlight the main pieces of content that we want you to take away, but then also, to your point, make it easier for you to share on socials, or share to your communities, or share wherever you want. And then that also rewards you, because it benefits us, but it benefits you because it's easy. And we're just trying to make things as simple as possible if we can.
Awesome. So I know the answer to this, but I'm sure our listeners probably don't. What is it that you can actually win by doing all of this, or what are the rewards that actually come out of this?
Yeah, so we have all different kinds of swag items, and actually those are being refreshed with our new branding right now. So slight little plug, there's new things coming, lots of exciting things coming there. But really, what we know, that not everybody's driven by the sweatshirts or the t-shirts or the little swag items you can get. And so we really try to do a bit of other things. So we have where you can, as I mentioned, be a podcast guest. If you want to redeem your points for that, you can get different certification credits. If you're really focused on kind of upskilling yourself, you can redeem for that. You can save all your points and redeem for a ticket to explore, which we've had quite a few people be able to do in the last year and going forward this year. So that's really big. It saves themselves or their company a significant amount of money to be able to give all year long, and then have those points be redeemed for a ticket. And again, that's a win-win for us as well. So there's a lot of different things that you can do, but ultimately we would try to hit on every aspect of what drives people. And not everyone is driven by that one thing, and so we try to have a mix of things.
Awesome. So I have to ask, since you said it's being refreshed, what happened with all the old material?
So they did give us approval to make sure we keep our sustainability efforts up, to discount those items and continue giving those items out. So we have them on there right now at a half price discount with your points. But we wanted to make sure that they didn't go in the garbage. That's super important to us.
Awesome.
And then we also have, if you want to give back to charity, you can do that. And you can also plant trees, or plant a whole grove of trees. So we really try to make sure that nothing goes in the garbage ever.
I know I
Wonderful.
got the I've lost the wrong audio here. Don't know
Oh,
why.
we hear you.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, that's weird. I must have turned there we go. Okay. So I was playing with the things. I went to Explore last year, I got
Mhm.
a tomato plant pencil and
Yes.
a couple other pencils. Has anybody grown any of these things?
Mine is still sitting on my desk.
Exactly. Right. I'm still using the pencil. When do I actually plant my pencil? Right.
Yeah, I actually, my daughter asked me if it was time to plant, and it's getting into spring. So I think we're going to do ours. And then we're going to do a challenge within the community. And we're going to see if customers have started planting their pencils. And whoever is biggest, then we can give them some bonus points. Let's see where our real nurturers are.
Yeah. Well, that's neat. I'm looking forward to maybe a bit more some of the more technical challenges as well. Like, we had a lot of fun in the early days of hands-on labs, and getting people to do things in hands-on labs and hands-on lab competition. And I thought that was a lot of fun, and people really liked that. I forget the name of the hands-on lab program that they actually had. I want to say Oasis, but it wasn't Oasis. It was some O name. I don't remember what that one was. Not
We also
Oasis,
partnered with the Design With Us team as well.
right? It would be fun to maybe do some of that again, where it's not just there's community sharing, which is good,
Mhm.
but then there's also technical learning. There's certifications. There's things that I go, okay, I'm one giving back to the community, but then two, I'm growing my career, and gamification while you're growing your career kind of
Mhm.
sounds fun as well. I think that would be interesting to see about doing some more hands-on lab kind of integrations and certifications. I know that the education team is still at VMware, right? They came over. They're now Broadcom people. Do you guys ever engage with any of the guys from education?
We do, and you're exactly right. Actually, that's one of our focuses is really trying to focus on that a bit more. We were very focused on some upskilling, about mid of last year, and then Explore hit and acquisition hit, and now here we are, and it's time to ramp it back up again. We want to not only give the certification, be able to give those certification credits, but get you ready for them. So you can go take the test with our points, but let's get you ready for being able to take the test. And so we really want to make sure that we do that. And as I mentioned, we also partner with the Design With Us team, and that's all been broken out into different divisions now within VMware by Broadcom. So we're working with the different divisions directly, and we'll make sure to get people the opportunity to go in and really help design the new release or any product that's coming. And it gets them, they're coming to those customers that are already, as we mentioned, in everything. So why not have their voice be a part of what the design is?
All right. Mobile World Congress is happening next week, right? And some of the Velo Cloud people are out there talking about Edge over in Barcelona. Do you guys get into the kind of the small business units like the Edge as well as network and security? We talked a little bit about Symantec. I can imagine you guys will do alignment there, but they're kind of the smaller ones, Edge and network security and Tanzu application. Do you guys spend time with them as well?
We do actually. Tanzu and Networks and Security actually had something in the last week or two. So these weeks are all merging together. So that's all new and fresh. And then, there are some others that will be coming down the pipeline soon. But we're really trying to start giving our divisions more access directly. So they'll actually start joining in on the conversation within the platform instead of just on the outside where we are, promoting for them. They'll actually be in and included and also kind of a part of the conversation. So hopefully that will be new and exciting for our customers as well.
Nice. Well, again, a lot of different areas to engage with quote Broadcom now, right? Or VMware by Broadcom. I guess if I were to instead of saying VMware rewards, I would actually have to say that maybe this will turn into Broadcom rewards, right, over time. And how we brand that and how we approach that will be interesting to see, because as you reach out to more of the divisions, and add point system, I know Broadcom's talking about, they want a global frequent flyer program. They do like rewarding customers, right? I would say that they're very customer focused, and anything we do with customers are like, yeah, we're deeper engagement with customers, get them to buy more, get them to use more, get them to consume more. Yeah, I gotta say that, yeah, over time, how you brand this, right, will be interesting. Maybe you just don't. Maybe it's always just rewards, and then depending on what division you're working with, it's VMware Rewards versus other rewards, but it's one common point system that you're acquiring your points through.
That's exactly it. We're actually still toying with names right now, but it was the Broadcom team and leadership that said, keep it as it is. I think it's important to our VMware customers to keep VMware in the name, and let's keep it. So currently keeping it. And as we continue to kind of go down this path of bringing in more Broadcom customers and building out the divisions, then we'll see if we need to change the name. But for now, it's sticking.
Nice. I would say, yeah, they are very aware of keeping VMware brand strong, keeping VMware programs strong. They clearly, everybody said, what did they get rid of? So many people got let go, like they got rid of lead gen marketing, right? And, lead gen everywhere, right? Global. We had lead gen going on in Europe. We had lead gen going on in Asia. We had lead gen going on everywhere. And Broadcom was like, we don't do lead gen. That's not what we do. We work with our enterprise customers. We have these programs, the community program, the VMUG program, the VMware Code program, the Champions program, the rewards, everything program that engages with our enterprise. And there was this also rumor that, we're not going to deal with SMB anymore. Oh, the commercial there. I wouldn't say that's the case either. No, they're still, commercial. We want to have high volume programs for the commercial. We want to make sure VMUG is going after SMB. That whole narrative that, they only care about enterprise is not true. I think they care about enterprise from the standpoint of what account rep is working with who, and make sure they have appropriate account rep coverage. But as far as dealing with commercial and SMB and large community at will, I see them going, no, we want all that. Yeah. It seems like they do.
I completely agree.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Same. I hope we get better trees and plants for my pencils next year. I thought that was a lot of fun. I assume you're still going to go to Explore, that you guys are working on that plan.
I am, and you're exactly right. Hopefully we'll be doing some things similar, just bringing the rewards program to life, having all of our different communities hand out the points, and they can redeem them for whatever swag or coffee or tree planting. We'll see what our customers want. We'll probably ask the community here soon, what do you want to see? What would you like? But I think that the important thing is we'll be there. We're excited to bring on any new customers that haven't signed up yet, and reward them for all their engagement at Explore.
The token thing was successful this year. I think at Explore, it's the first time I've ever seen the token thing successful. Right? Like people came by at each booth saying, hey, how do I get some tokens? I think the coffee bar was a big piece of that. The espresso bar was big, but the pencils and just the kind of the fun things to get got me around looking for tokens so that I could go, spend them at the rewards booth. Right. And I thought the rewards booth was very well done as well. Right. Like the coffee bar was up front. The counter was there. There was never a line of 50 people waiting. There was always just a couple people there. And then you had everything laid out nice. So I felt like you got to meet everybody. When people were coming up, were they people that knew of the program? Like how many people came up and knew of it versus how many people you just signed up on the spot? What was the percentage?
We actually had a pretty big mix. We signed up at each event. So we went to Singapore, Spain, and in Vegas. And we had over 1,000 customers at each event sign up. So in Singapore alone, we grew our Asia Pacific customer base and made it to where we had 800 signups in the day. And that really kind of helped even out our different area. Different areas were really important for us. So, I cannot even, my head was spinning that week. I mean, we were busy. But we really do. We are surprised how many customers have not heard of it and are not participating. But then it's really nice to also tell them it's not just a rewards program and you just sign up for us. You earn points because of all the other VMware, folks that are in this room. So go talk with them, get signed up for VMUG, get signed up for Design with Us, get signed up for all the different communities, and then come back and we'll reward you for it. Because I think seeing that unison was exactly what we were missing a few years ago, when it was really hard to get customers signed up for whatever program you had, because they were like, but what's different of you and them, or what's different from this?
Right.
We
We
so
were
now
all tied together this year. Yeah,
it really drives, customer engagement, because they want
the other thing that happened.
solution.
I thought that they did well was they got rid of the Explore Rewards program, because we always had our own code rewards and you guys had rewards and it wasn't pulled together. But then the event team would go do their own backpack reward program. And all of a sudden everybody's just running around trying to get their backpack. And so they weren't engaging with our programs. They were just engaging with Explore as a whole. And I think they got rid of that now, right? I think you guys were the main reward for the whole venue as well, right?
Where they did have the VR engagement, but that was more of just to get you to help you find different spaces.
Oh, right. Yeah.
One of the VR was in our booth, so it drove them to the rewards so that we could then get them to all the different spaces. So I think that partnership also really came very clear this year.
Nice. So as we come up into the last 10 or 15 minutes of the podcast, I like to always look at, going forward, where do we think any of this is going, right? Are you guys going to put like a Steam app up so that I can play gamification, play my Steam games, and then somehow manage my virtual machines at the same time and then get some rewards at the same time? I don't know where gamification is going or where you're going. I would guess that your answer is just going to be Broadcom integration, right? Probably what you'll focus on for the next 2024 year. But I always ask guests that, where do you think some of this is going and what excites you about the next year?
To be honest, I wish I was able to think much bigger than Broadcom right now, but getting those integrations in, making sure the growth is there for those customers is going to already be such a big task. But the exciting part about it is, we are going to bring in some new customers, some new perspectives, some new folks that, might ask for different things. And so we'll see what the customers want and we'll go there.
Do you actually integrate in with a customer stories group as well, where you're getting customers to record and do custom deep customer storytelling, right? Do you guys spend time over there as well?
We do. So any customer who is a storyteller or an advocate automatically is brought in with a very large point value.
Yeah, it's like the experts and an author. If you're an author, you pretty much can make yourself the expert, because we give you like 250 points just for doing a book.
Exactly. Right. So you come in with a really large value, so you can immediately be redeemed and be able to get something that you want. But ultimately, we're also on the opposite end. We're also looking at the customers that we have in there, who's already sharing their story and pulling them out for the advocates team to look at and see if their story is worth, digging into and giving them bonus points there. So it goes both ways. But I think the most important part is they're definitely in there. They're engaged, and we're looking for people to raise their hands and share their story. And it's one of those things that helps every customer in terms of how are they using the product? How can I think bigger? How can I do something that really impacts? And so we love sharing their stories.
I always, I look at Broadcom and I look at VCF, one big division now, where a lot of the community activity we do with VMUG is all about the VCF products, right? Mm-hmm. And they pulled 3 business units into one business unit, right? So it makes it easier to engage with them. Mm-hmm. Are you getting more engagement from VCF as a whole now that they're one division?
Yes. I could not tell you. We're getting requests from the VCF team, so much so that we had to go back to them and say, hold on, there's a lot of folks here. Everybody wants to utilize this platform and we love it. But we've got to simplify. We need to have one person who's our main point of contact, and you guys bring things to them, and then we vet it out, put it in our content calendar so we don't overwhelm the customers with too much at once, because we also receive requests from every other division as well. So we don't want it to get too busy from one. But the thing that we did to kind of shift and make it easier for our customers to navigate is we'll be launching new challenge cards that are division specific. So if you are a VCF customer, we'll actually have the products outlined there, because not everybody knows what that exactly means. But you can actually go into that challenge and just see the VCF challenges and be able to complete those and get what you want, versus having to navigate through all the other challenges first. So hopefully that will be help simplify a little bit.
So if I'm a VCF customer, but I want to explore other areas, I can still do that though, right?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
You'll be able to see everything. You just will be able to pinpoint what you want to really kind of play around in and complete. And, one of the things that before we had our cards based on like Fun Fridays or up leveling or upskilling or what have you. Now it's going to be division focused. And then as we bring in the Broadcom divisions, they'll have their own challenge cards as well. So if you aren't a Broadcom, specific user, then you can just not go into those and not have to see them pop up.
One other, question that I have, because I've done gamification, global shipments and global reach, right? Like I know when we were running Cloud Cred for a while, we were dying because like India was going crazy, and to ship anything to India, costs like $22 for a $7 t-shirt, right? So it's like the shipping cost was 3x what the price was worth, right? Yeah. Are you guys global, one, and then two, how are you dealing with that global aspect of delivery of stuff?
Well, we do have a complete integration with ethics and compliance. So anything that you're not capable of receiving in your country, we are completely global, will not show up on your rewards redemption.
Oh, interesting.
You won't even be able to see it at all.
Right.
And then, there are a lot of things that, we might pay more in shipping to get it to you, but it's important to us if that's what you want. We're not going to tell you can't have it. And it all kind of evens out on the back end. But we do really try to make sure that even if, some areas might not be able to see as many items, that everybody has something that they can redeem for, and that we keep that balance across the board. So there's always something
that makes sense. Yeah, you're managing. The platform allows you to manage availability by region, and therefore you're just going to restrict things but you're trying to balance what you can get versus what you can't. Now, if I VPN in, from another country and set my VPN location to US and then give you a freight forwarder to a US destination, then I could be in that business. I could give everybody my home address and you could forward the prices to me. I'll take a cut of those prices and then forward that on to you, and I'll only charge you a 10% markup on your freight costs. So we could have a gig going here.
You would be surprised with the things we've caught. We don't try to push yourself into the advocates group. We do have it. It's sad, but it's true. There's always those.
Well, I did say that when back in Cloud Cred, it was just kind of like point gamification, pure and raw. And that one, we just have constant cheating, right? And that's what I say about cheating is that, you're only hurting yourself, right? Like you're only hurting because these prizes are not worth, like, maybe in some places. I know that in India, sometimes we would get like a guy that would go try to get 20 t-shirts and put them on eBay in India or whatever their platform was, and then sell them for $6 a shirt or whatever. But if you're getting points doing virtualization stuff, you're going to be making more money as an IT admin than you are making money peddling t-shirts, right? So and that's what I'd say, like, don't cheat in these type of things because you get caught eventually. I know we had things that were watching what was being delivered and then red flagging. And then we had what they call honey pots, where if you went in and try to get some of that, that was an impossible thing to do. So if you were doing it, it means you were cheating, and therefore we could immediately flag you and then turn off your account. But a lot of times we would just send a mail going like, hey, you're doing this. Do you want us to put this out on social? Because these people are real people, but like they just didn't realize that, no, we're going to actually catch you, and then we're going to expose you. And the embarrassment you're going to feel for just blatantly cheating is not worth, your that exposure.
Yeah. It might get you a few extra points, but it's not going to be worth anything, because you won't be able to earn points going forward. We do have a group, and we do monitor it very closely. And to get out of the Advocates group, you have to complete our ethics and compliance rules and all the different challenges that we give you in those again. So it's like being put in timeout, and then you have to come back out of it. So yeah, don't ever play with that.
You put in there's games that we play, and there was one game that I used to play called First Star Online, and they had like a virtual jail in the maps. Yeah. They had like a jail, and they would teleport you into the jail, and there was no way to get out, and you were timed in there for like 4 days. And and everybody that walked by could see your avatar standing in jail, right? Which meant you did something wrong. And so it was like embarrassing.
Yeah.
So you had to go away, know that you were in jail. Everybody knew you were in jail, and then you would come in, and then the admin the next game it would teleport you out of jail. So there are weird things like that you can do, which are kind of fun but a little embarrassing. So there's because it is a game, but it's also, why bother? So that was my cheating question. I always ask that when it comes to gamification, right? I think that's all I got. Tony, you got anything else before we go to barbecue?
So I do have one real quick question. Do you involve the community in actually creating some of the content for this?
We do. So we'll open every once in a while for submissions and questions, and we will do that a lot, especially around Explore, because people can kind of put in, what have you learned, or give us content on things that you saw valuable, things that we might not see, because we're running booths. We're not in the sessions and the breakout sessions specifically. So it's really nice for them to be able to come in and kind of share and create those pieces of content. But I think it's something, to your point, we should do it more often, because there's a lot that we would love to hear from our customers. And that's where I think the value of the discussion board can come in sometimes with those champions, is because they'll see something on a different place and be able to come in and share it and push people back out. And it gets people, really engaging in all of the other areas too.
All right. Well, Tiffany, we know you're from Texas. Is it Austin that you're from, or is it? You are from Austin, and because we live stream on VBarbecue, you can go to youtube.com/VBarbecue, VBARBECUE, and check out what Tiffany looks like. If you want to see what she looks like, we do put a camera out there. It's not the best in the world, but we do record on StreamYard. We broadcast on VMware TV and VBarbecue, and you can go watch us if you want to, or you can catch us if you're listening to this. You're probably on SoundHound, not SoundHound, TalkShoe. So we also publish on SoundHound, TalkShoe, and several other channels. So you're listening to us. But if you want to see what Tiffany looks like, you can go to VBarbecue on YouTube and see what we look like. So Tiffany, you're in Austin. Do you do any barbecue in your backyard or otherwise?
Absolutely.
And if so, what do you like to put on the grill? And because you're in Austin, I go to Mr. Stubbs in downtown Austin. Yeah. What's your favorite barbecue place at the same time?
Absolutely. We love to grill. We're always grilling up something, ribs or pulled pork, steaks, whatever. And we actually just drove through Lockhart. So Lockhart's one of the largest barbecue hubs in Texas, and checked out a new place this weekend. So funny enough that you asked that. There is somewhere called Barb's Barbecue, and it's the first completely women-owned barbecue space in Lockhart. and I would venture to say probably the only one in Texas. And it was phenomenal. They're only open 2 days a week, and they sell out super fast. And it is one of those places you should definitely check out whenever you come to Texas.
Barb's Barbecue in Lockhart, Texas, which I got to assume is around Austin somewhere.
It is just like an hour outside of town.
Hour outside of town. All right, there you go. I've been half an hour outside of town where they have a ranchy kind of place. I forget the name of that one, but it's a famous one that's out in like the scrublands of Texas somewhere. You know that just everybody knows it. It's like
it's not
Salt Lick, yeah. Salt Lick.
Okay.
Yeah. I just couldn't remember the name, but yeah. I've been to Salt Lick, been downtown to Mr. Stubbs and a couple others around there. So there's a lot of great barbecue, in Austin. You know, the joke is we always fight between Texas, Texas, Southern California, and sometimes in the Southeast, right? You know, North Carolina, they have some good barbecue up there. And so I'm beginning to believe that Texas probably, has more, maybe not the best, but it definitely has more than anywhere else, right? Like having, spent some time in this space now, right? Seems like that is. Tony, I did do ribs this President's Day. I did 3 slabs, and I have now got my recipe down, right? Like I definitely
awesome.
The day before we use a jerk sauce, we do a Mr. Stubbs rub on top of the jerk sauce, and we let those season overnight, 24 hours, let those go. Then I put them in the smoker with, regular wood pellets, little cherry wood, little mahogany, right? And something else, 3 different woods, and then put some apple juice in there while it's smoking. And then I do a 3-2-1, 3 hours smoking, then 2 hours covered in foil or paper, and then 1 hour at the end where I put a sauce on top. So I've got that down, and they turn out great, right? Like they turn out great. But what I have learned is where you buy your ribs now also matters, like how much pork is on the ribs, right? Some of the Costco ribs just like come with 3 inches of pork, and it's fine. But then you have a certain amount of fat, and the fat then creates oil, which changes the flavor. Versus if you have a little bit leaner ribs, you get less of that fat, more of the dry rub. So I have learned that I like the leaner, more expensive rib cuts from our local, Piazza markets, which are expensive, versus just going to Costco and getting a big slab of ribs. So that's my next thing is rib selection. I think makes a big difference.
It does. So I have to ask then, do you trim your ribs or do you take them and put them straight on from the store?
This last time I just put them straight on, right? I didn't, because there was not a lot of fat on these ribs, but there was just a lot of extra meat, right? A lot, almost like I had pulled pork ribs, right? Where there was so much meat on the ribs that then I just ended up with almost like, an 1.5 inches of meat on each top of each rib, which I thought was just changes the flavor.
It absolutely does. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's what I learned. Next time I'm going to go with a little bit leaner, more expensive rib type, because I've made some really good ones that way also. But the 3-2-1 with a rub for 24 hours, let them season overnight, can't go wrong with that. And then I think 220, I think the 220 is the smoker temp that I used for the whole thing. And then I turn it up a little bit at the end when I'm doing the last hour with the barbecue sauce on top. So the other thing I would say is that I'm sick of barbecue by the time I spend 6 hours doing it, because I breathed in the smoke for so long that I'm like, okay, everybody else loves the ribs. And I'm like, yeah, they're all right. But I feel like I've already eaten this all for the last 6 hours. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good
Yes.
times.
So this weekend, or actually, I guess it was Monday, I did chicken thighs, barbecued chicken thighs.
Can't go wrong with that.
No, they turned out great, and now I'm having them on salad. That's my lunch today is chicken blueberry salad.
Salad.
That doesn't take 6 hours, so it's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Tiffany, we'll say the URL vmware.com/company/rewards.html. If you want to go read about the rewards program, they have links. You can go join. If you're listening to this and you haven't joined or haven't been participating in a while, go check it out. Tiffany's been running it for a couple of years now, and it is definitely a much better program. So thanks a lot for doing that.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, great to have you on the show. We'll be back again next week. As always, Julia Klaus will be joining us. She's back from her maternity leave, so she's back. Today was her first day back. We should have had her on the podcast, because she's always behind the scenes. She'll be getting me some new guests. It'll be great to have her back in the role as the VMTM community manager, as well as running the YouTube channels. And as always, helping us recruit guests for the community podcasts. And we have Mr. Dearly because we haven't had her running around getting guests all month long. So it'll be great to have her back. Can't wait for that. Tiffany, thanks a lot. Have a great rest of your day and enjoy your week.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Recording paused.